mountains, smoke blue and serene folded one behind the other. I counted 11 ranges rising up toward the vault of the sky. I didn't realize it then, but from the very first moment I saw them, the mountains were a source of peace and strength to me, always there to quiet my mind and satisfy my heart. I'd been protected at home. It's a wonder my parents let me go to the backwoods of Tennessee. But teaching in a mission school sounded so safe, and Miss Alice spoke at our church with such love of her Highlanders. I knew before the hymn was done that I would...
Whispers in the Holler, the spirit of the Appalachian Hill People. Roots in stone and earth. There are places in this country where time holds its breath, where mist curls low over ridge and holler, where stories are passed not in books, but in the hush of creeks and the hush of rocking chairs. These places belong to the Appalachian Hill People. Not a tribe, not a trend, a people carved from stone and sorrow, forged by fire and faith, forgotten by policy, but remembered in spirit.
Hello! Hello! Around here, our best warn folks you coming, and they liable to say howdy with a rifle gun.
That's wise.
Now wait! Miss Hudson! You all right? Get down! Get you got more sense! How you doing, Jeb? About like common. Jeb Spencer, this here's Miss Huddleston, new teacher from over Asheville way.
Hello?
Ma'am, this here is my woman, and that's John.
These were the faces of the pioneers. By crossing the mountains, I had crossed into another time.
And the Leaston.
I'm pleased to meet you.
The Appalachian Mountains stretch like a vertebrae across the eastern spine of America, ancient, enduring, and deeply etched into the bones of the land. Long before colonists pressed into the hills, the Cherokee called this home, with sacred paths running through what would one day be West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and beyond. Then came the settlers, Scots-Irish, mostly seeking land, freedom, and a place where the kings and preachers could not find them. They were poor in gold, but rich in grit. They knew how to survive, how to plant by a moon, hunt with reverence, and build homes with nothing but trees, sweat, and prayers.
David can build whatever he sets his hand to.
Miss Grantland, where is the school?
Same as the church. We can't afford two buildings where one would do.
It's very thrifty. School during the week and church on Sundays.
My brother's only been here a short while, but he has accomplished a great deal. He did most of the work himself. You can't count on the mountain men at all.
I'm sure he's done wonders. Both of you have.
He begged me to come and keep house for him. Said he couldn't get along without me.
Miss Grantland, I know a stranger just barging in must feel like a terrible disruption in your lives.
Miss Alice will want to talk to you, probably at the school.
so beautiful here. And yet the cabins I saw, I know these people are poor, but...
To the Highlander, God is stern and punishing. They believe he means life to be hard, full of sorrow. Often they overlook the joys of nature all around them.
Isolation birthed identity. Ridges became borders, and hollows became cradles of culture. And so the Hill People were born not just by blood, but by land, labor, and legacy. They made a hard land livable, and in doing so, they created a culture the outside world would never quite understand, and sometimes never tried to. We're not just telling a history here, we're listening for voices buried beneath the laurel, because their stories still echo.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mug.
Mrs. Spencer didn't seem like a poor woman stuck at the back of Beyond. She was a Highland princess who should have been wearing silks and satins.
Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. And if that diamond ring gets brass, Mama's gonna buy you a looking glass. And if that looking glass...
Teaching here will not be easy. It will be the hardest thing thee has ever tried. Hold on to joy. Joy is a great gift. Thee will need it.
The church wasn't just a place of worship, it was a courthouse, the meeting hall, the healer's den. And the preacher, he was part shepherd, part judge, and part town crier. Faith ran deep in the hills, often more felt than formal. You'll hear of fire and brimstone sermons at snake handling revivals. But more often, you'll hear a quiet testimony of endurance, of coal-streaked hands folded in prayer, of old women humming gospel hymns with cracked whisper of generations.
Attention to them, Mountie. I think you're really smart. I know you can learn. And I am meant to teach you.
I reckon I'm about ready.
To understand my children better, I assigned a theme. What do I want to do when I grow up?
When I grow up, I want to have a lot of shoes. 2, 3 pairs even. And I want a fine house with pans to cook in and a rug on the floor to sink my toes in.
Sometimes I get lonesome. I want to tell my thoughts, my good thoughts on the inside, to somebody without being laughed at. It would pleasure me to know the right way to put things down on paper for other folks, too.
I want to smell nice and have lots of pretty clothes. Like teacher.
I want to go far away from home. Across the mountains to the flatlands. Get me a fine job with plenty to eat.
Thought at your question about growing up.
And the schools, were one-room log cabins. Some had more gaps in the walls than children in the desk, but they were temples of hope. Teachers walked miles through the snow to reach them. Books were passed hand to hand until the pages were soft with use. Learning wasn't easy, but it was sacred. Because for many, that battered little schoolhouse was the first real shot at something more. And in those hills, dreams wasn't about mansions or yachts. They were about being able to read a letter from your son or sign your own name on a deed.
Miss Huddleston has come all the way from Asheville to be your teacher. She was persuaded by Miss Alice to undertake your education. And that's no small thing for somebody to do. It meant sacrificing time with her family, uprooting herself.
There were tiny ones as young as 5,
coming to a place she's
and
never
several
even
who looked
seen
older than
before.
I. Some were sleepy.
We're all very
I'd
grateful
find
to
out
her.
they'd gotten up before dawn to walk here.
And I
Many
know
had
you'll
faces
treat her
too
with the
old and
kindness
sober, like
and
the faces
respect
of old men and women.
she deserves.
Thank you, Mr. Grantland. You must have many important things to do, so I won't ask you to stay.
Are you sure? That's Lundy Taylor. There's a feud between the Taylors and the Allens. Lundy's never been to school with any of the Allen children before.
I'm sure we'll get along just fine. Thanks so much.
If you're sure.
She's nervous. How can you tell? Look at her shaking. She talks funny, too.
Sit up straight, Lundy Taylor. And please take your feet out of the aisle. Thank goodness for a familiar face. Ruby Mae Morrison did housework at the mission. Ruby Mae, could you please help me take the roll?
Yes'm. What's take the row?
I need everyone's name and age, their parents' name, and their home address, where they live.
Ma'am, you just can't mortally write that.
Of course you can. You watch me do a row and then you'll see. Name, please.
Front name be Sam Houston. Back name be Holcomb.
And what's your address, Sam?
Generally, go by Sam Houston, ma'am.
All right. I beg your pardon. Where do you live, Sam Houston?
Well,
An awful smoke
first
kept
you cross
distracting
Cutter
me.
Branch,
I hoped it wasn't any of the
cross
children,
Pine Ridge.
but I didn't know what else it could be.
Best way. When you come to the fork in the trail, you just scoot under the fence.
Thank you. We'll get addresses later.
They just hogs, teacher. They live down there 'cause it's cool.
I see. It was an unconventional roll call, but I learned a great deal about the children that day. Odor Baloteal, who insisted on his full name, and his small sister. And what's your name? Hush, please. Don't be afraid, you can tell me.
Ain't no use in asking her, teacher. She'd be Mountie O'Teal.
She don't talk, teacher.
I'm sure you'll have plenty to say after we get to know each other.
Teacher, I worked these figures.
All of them?
Yes'm. Could you get me a harder book?
I'll surely try, Zadie.
That graft over that hole. Plumb crazy, ain't your name tall?
All right. This is no time for fooling. We have a role to take. Now, what's your name?
That graft over that hole.
Teacher, he be a packing lies. You can tell. Just look at his ear. All the hopes when they tell a whopper their ears twitch. Ma'am, I answered a creed hour. And that thar's Scalawag.
Might be a good name for you, too.
Sleeps with me every night. Oh, he be clean. Coons wash every natural blessed thing afore they eat it. They be the best pets.
Creed, we have to have a talk about Scalawag in school. You see, he is such a specially fine coon that I'm afraid the others will watch him and not do their lessons.
Man, no, teacher. We'll study on better than ever.
Well, let's make a pact. You leave Scalawag at home from now on, and I'll let you bring him to the last social, the big recitation before school closes. He'll be part of the entertainment. Everybody in the cove will see him.
Honest? That be a seal bargain. Put her there, teacher.
No notebooks, little paper of any kind, 5 textbooks, and those tattered with pages missing or torn.
Iron in their bones. You want to understand the Appalachian spirit? Go talk to a coal miner. Better yet, talk to his widow, or his daughter, or the neighbor who brought food when the mountain took him too young. This is a people built on hard work. Farmers, loggers, miners, and moonshiners.
Hello, Mountie. How are you?
Mom! Mom! Come quick! Mom! It's teacher! Mom! Mom! Mom!
Come on. Come on in. Come on. Come on in.
The stench was overwhelming.
Sit.
I was glad Mrs. O'Teal had left the door open.
So, tell me, how's my young'uns doing in school?
Well, I came to ask you about Mountie. Why doesn't she talk?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I ain't got time to study on it much, neither. What with the young'uns to feed and care for, and then I got the place to tend to.
Isn't there a Mr. O'Teal?
Oh, he comes around. But he don't want no fussing over gals. Oh, he wouldn't like your being here visiting. No, ma'am.
But don't you want Mountie to talk?
I do. But I reckon if the Lord wants her to, she will.
I was just thinking that maybe there's something we could do to help her.
A man wouldn't like it. Ma'am, I told you he don't take to no fussing over gals. But he ain't here right now. We could just go on sitting and visiting.
Mrs. O'Teal.
But we gotta let the Lord take care of Monty.
They knew how to swing an axe, patch a quilt, and bury a child with dignity and grit. They're storytellers too. Walk into any Appalachian home and you'll leave with a full belly and 3 ghost stories. They speak in riddles and wisdom, mix scripture with folklore. Every porch is a pulpit, and every rocking chair has heard 100 truths.
Have you met Aunt Polly T?
Because I was so new to Cutter Gap, I was flattered when Miss Alice invited me to join her sewing circle.
Little thing. Aunt Polly has the distinction of being the eldest person in the Gap, 92. Isn't that right, Aunt Polly?
92, 93. I can't be bothered.
Ladies, let us begin. Won't you sit here, Aunt Polly, next to Miss Huddleston?
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'm so happy y'all could be here. It's too long since we've met. Our afternoons together are dear to me. The company of women refreshes my spirit.
Amen.
Well, why don't we begin with news? Any marriages or births to report?
No, not lately.
The only news is about the preacher in Alt Allen.
Lord of mercy. No offense meant, Mary, but that ought now. Always has been. Tough as a hickory nut and mighty quick to get riled.
Well, I hear Alt's got a grudge against preacher bigger than a mountain.
Preacher likes to get his way. How'd you forget that?
Now, Mary, Alt, don't make it any easier.
Ladies, I think it would serve us better to contemplate what brings us together rather than what divides us. Miss Huddleston, why don't you read to us from the Bible?
Certainly. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments. Maybe I'll just start with Genesis.
Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
Dillingham, Teague. You may be 90-some years old, but you still can't sing.
Well, I never said it could. Granny, if the Lord were a strict choir master, some of us would never get into heaven. I prefer to believe in him as a loving father who always approves of his children's best efforts. And I could say turns a deaf ear to their defects.
I declare, Miss Alice, you make the Almighty seem get-at-able. Child, what's that you're making over there?
A pocket for my apron. But someday I'm going to make me a dress like Miss Christy's. Oh, it's so pretty. Thank you, Ruby May.
You make that dress?
No, I bought it.
You know, store-bought things don't last. Now, home weave clothes, that's different. When my family was grown, I made every scrap of their clothes, wove all the cloth myself, and dyed it, too.
Aunt Polly, that's amazing.
No, child. It was just life back then.
How hard would it be for you all to start weaving again?
About as hard as it'd be for me to grow a third arm. It's about what I'd need to do that and all my other chores.
I know you're busy, but ladies, this is your heritage.
Miss Christy, my husband don't like it when I ain't tending to my family.
But it would bring in extra money. Think of what a difference it would make in your lives.
Miss Huddleston is growing late. We will consider your ideas when next we meet. Ladies, I think it's time to try the Lord's patience with a closing hymn. Rebecca.
What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear.
I wanted so much to reach out to these people, but I wasn't sure how. When Fairlight Spencer invited me to call at her cabin, I accepted eagerly. Friendships were not made easily around here.
There's music too, not just banjos and fiddles, but songs that hold memory like a vessel. Ballads carried across the ocean and reborn in the hollers. Songs of longing, loss, and undying love. Strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers through toothless grins, patched overalls, and hands that haven't known rest in 60 years.
You're early. I didn't expect you so soon. I'm just finishing up with my chores.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was over at the McComb, so I just thought I'd come over.
Well, sit yourself down. I hope the clown wasn't too steep.
I'm getting used to these heights.
I had never known such hard-working and courageous women as these. They accomplish so much with so little.
My Jeb, he makes the best sourwood honey in these here mountains.
It's delicious. How did you and Jeb meet?
It was at a singing over in Lofty Branch. He was singing down in the valley. It just went straight to my heart. That's a long time ago. There were 7 young'uns.
It's a lovely fairlight. Did you make this? Where'd you get this design?
See that lookout up there? Sometimes when I'm down, it perks me up to look up there and see the sun, the stars, and the moon. So one night, I drawed me an idea.
You designed this yourself?
Tried hard. It's kind of nice having the starry heavens on my quilt.
This is just what I was talking about at the sewing circle. My friends back home would love this. You can't buy anything like it in Nashville.
I gotta start supper.
Fairlight, you have been so kind to me. When Birdseye made that threat, you were the first to bring your children back to school. You've made me feel so welcome here. Is there anything I can do for you?
Maybe there is. See, my young'uns, they can read whole books now. And I'm their mama. And I can't read nor write my very own name. It's as if I'm peering through that lookout, just barely able to see the sky. But if I could read, I could touch those stars. Could you learn me how? To read, I mean.
I would love to. Yes.
Shadows and stigmas. But no story is whole without its shadows. The same isolation that protected their way of life also kept help out. Poverty clung like kudzu. Addiction took root where jobs disappeared, and some towns were hollowed out like hills they were named for. And the world outside, it watched from a distance. Labeled them backwards, lazy, violent. The hillbilly stereotype became a joke, a slur, a misunderstanding weaponized. But they are not a punchline. They are a people. Flawed, yes, but fiercely alive. You'll find stubbornness here, sometimes to a fault, a distrust of outsiders, a resistance to change that can stall progress. But you'll also find honesty and loyalty.
May I help you?
I am well acquainted with the beauty of these mountains, but I was not prepared for such elegance. Theodore S. Harland, essayist, historian, admirer.
Alice Henderson.
It is Miss Henderson, I do hope. This is the mission at Cutter Gap.
It is. Have you business here?
You didn't receive my letter. I wrote to make arrangements for my stay, so I assumed... Well, now I am imposing.
What is it you want, Mr.
Harlan.
Harland?
A few days' board while I conduct my research. I'm delighted to pay.
I'm afraid you've been misinformed. This is not a hotel.
But I am in the midst of a most important academic undertaking, an oral history of these mountains. I believe it is vital that this culture be preserved. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Good. I am gathering material so that places like Cutter Gap will not, in effect, perish from the earth. Your hospitality would be a godsend. Allow me. The folklore of these hollows, by its own nature, demands to be shared.
Why?
What is the first thing that outsiders think about mountain people? That they are whiskey-drinking, gun-toting hillbillies with nothing better to do than to shoot at one another. But what they've missed, what they don't see, is their kindness of spirit, their strength, their fierce loyalty, the traditions they share. The very heart and soul of these mountains lie in their stories and in their songs. And I mean for the world to hear the truth.
You are eloquent, Mr.
Harland.
Harland.
I think that's a wonderful project. Uncle Bog would be happy to share his stories. And Hattie, Dr. McNeil says that she knows every mountain song. And we've talked about having a musical gathering ever since the piano arrived.
Please do not allow your work to disrupt our neighbors' lives. They mustn't be made to feel like they are curiosities.
You have my assurance, Madame.
He was going to publish them all right, under his own name.
He was robbing Miss Hattie and using me to do it.
He won't get away with it.
This is not your fault.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
When the light breaks through and the day is new, I learn once more to carry on.
Ha! Young Spencer. I didn't expect to see you today.
I reckon you didn't.
Something wrong, John?
This man's been stealing your songs. He fooled me into writing them down, then he put his own name on them. He was going to sell them under his own name. Ain't that right, Mr. Holland?
I was going to take some of them back. Yes, that's true. But only so that people could enjoy them, so they could learn more about your world here.
You're a liar.
You ain't taking those.
Hey, boys, listen, these are my materials here. Let them go. Now, let them go. This young man attacked me. I was just defending myself.
You was robbing Miss Hattie.
Hush, John. Mr. Harlan, my songs are a gift from God, and he meant for me to pass them along to others. I reckon if you need my songs so bad, you can have them. And now, I'm gonna go in and get my shawl, and I'd be grateful if you'd take me down to the mission for the singing this afternoon.
Be my pleasure, Miss Hattie.
I'll take those.
But Miss Hattie just said...
If you steal her songs, you'll have to carry them out in your head. You're not leaving with that music.
And just who's going to stop me?
I am. If I were you, I wouldn't show my face around here again.
A kind of neighborliness that the cities forgot. Modern Appalachia is complex. A young woman running a tech startup out of a trailer. A teenage boy who wants to feed his family. A grandmother raising her grandkids after addiction took their parents. They are not relics, they are not ghosts, and they are still here. So what is the story of the Appalachian Hill People? It's not just a history, it's a living hymn, a lament, a lullaby. It is in every crumbling chimney, every weathered school photo, and every kitchen garden planted by moonlight.
Of course Lundy wouldn't admit to throwing a rock, and that's just one problem. I haven't been able to divide the school into grades because I have to seat each grade together regardless of sex, but each child keeps telling me over and over.
No, ma'am. I can't sit next to no boy. This ain't no court in school. My pa will take me out if you make it a court in school.
Exactly.
Stand firm. Grades together. They'll get used to it.
And where do I begin to correct English? Sometimes their grammar is awful, but I would hate to lose the traditional way they speak. And why do they insist on being taught Latin when they just need the most basic subjects?
Because they're what they call long-headed. Stubborn Scots and equally flinty Irish and German.
Some of the children have trouble concentrating. I think it's because they're hungry. And they have bad vision.
They didn't tell you that. They're much too proud.
No, they didn't tell me that. But their eyes are bloodshot and they shield them from the light. And then there are the pigs.
Farmers round here let their pigs wander free to fatten up on what they can find.
Well, they don't help my teaching efforts one bit. Twice today, they nearly drowned me out.
It isn't in the curriculum at Teachers College. The solution is speak up.
Miss Alice, I don't know what to do about Lundy. David said there's a feud. Is that why he wanted to hurt Mounty?
Probably not. The Taylors and the O'Teals are generally friendly.
Then he did it out of pure spite.
And as a challenge to you.
Their strengths are their roots, their weaknesses, their weathering, and their legacy. Their legacy is the unshakable truth that the human spirit, like these mountains, endures. So listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart, because the hills still speaks. I hope you enjoyed this short little history of the Appalachian Hill People. Have a good day, guys.